That's ready. Okay, I'm just gonna fire up the whole YouTube thing here, so bear with me.
Okay.
Hey, everybody on YouTube, how you doing? You made it through the weekend and kicked off another freaky Monday here with all the stuff that's going on in the world. I am Dave Scott. If you haven't noticed by now, this is kind of my show, the old Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great start to your week. I did. I feel like I'm almost getting over my cold. Shout out to Waylon, Tammy, A. Bauman, Wayland again, Bill W50, not the WD-40. He is W50. Nice. Matt Lay is with us. We're going to hang out with him tonight. And, tonight is good. We're going to tear some asses in the paranormal tonight. That's what we're going to do. We're going to tear up. We're going to break it down. And I'm pretty excited about it. Hey, Phenom, Mr. Apnea, how are you? My toilet paper update is as follows. I have, I believe, 12 rolls left. 12 rolls left before I got to go shake, rattle, and roll at the old supermarket. Hey, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, how are you, man? Good to have you here. Nice to see all of you coming in early. Don't forget to give us that thumbs up as we are a couple of minutes away. Really cool news. I'll let you all know. Really cool news. We have picked up another radio station today. Another one. This time in Vermont. I'm not going to give the call sign yet. They're only going to be playing us on Saturdays, but doesn't matter. We got the foot in the door in Vermont. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I hope you guys are too, because we are getting bigger, better every time. Shanna Banana, how you doing, gorgeous? And, of course, Treehouse Cannabis. Hope you are high as a kite tonight, my friend, because we're going to get into it with Matt Lay. Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Right on.
You can hear the southern accent slide through, even though I'm in Canada.
I hear you, man. I hear you. And, you are an American United States Air Force veteran. You are married to a Canadian lass where you couldn't have found a much colder place than Saskatchewan, by the way. Just be honest.
Well,
be honest. You had no bloody clue where Saskatchewan was before you met Alyson, did you?
No, I couldn't even spell it.
Exactly. So for the people who don't know how flat Saskatchewan is, what's it like to never lose your dog because you could see it running 10 miles away?
Well, I mean, my pride moment is to be able to watch the sunrise and the moon set in one sitting, but yeah, it's quite interesting. Actually, it reminds me of being deployed in the desert. It's flat. It's beyond flat.
Right on. We've got about just under 3 minutes here until we are going to launch off our week with Matt Lay and Paranormal Investigation 101. It's going to be a fun show tonight. So if you're a paranormal investigator, Matt has actually written a new book called Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations. I have it in my hand. I am giving away 2 copies tonight. I am giving away 2 copies of this book right here. And I'm looking forward to it because I really like Matt and his wife, Alyson. I think they are doing paranormal investigation for the right reasons. And it's very, very tough for me. And we'll get into this more in the show. But it's very, very tough for me to bring on paranormal teams and groups because they're very aloof for the most part. It's funny. I have no problem booking Bigfoot people. I have no problem booking UFO people, consciousness people. But when it comes to the paranormal, very, very tough. So anytime we get some people on here that I trust, that's what I like to do. Hey, Tater Tot, how you doing, man? Good to have you with us. Hey, I want to remind all of you, as we are only about a minute or so away from launching, that if you want to support this show, great way to do it. We have the super chat open if you so feel we deserve. And you can also go to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can go to the SOR vault, pick yourself up a t-shirt. a hoodie, underwear, socks, sweaters, bags, phone charger, and phone covers, everything to go along with it. We got a lot of really cool swag there, so stick on around and check that out if you don't mind. Hold on one second. We're just going to fire things up here on the one side of the broadcast. All right, Matt, we got about 45 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. Trios. Have I ever heard of a big cat shadow in Central California? No, I have not. I would love to learn about that, though. I really would. That would be kind of cool.
I have an interesting story about animals.
Well,
but anyway.
We can get into that. Matt has a fantastic beard, by the way. Look at his photo. It's up on YouTube. Isn't that a fantastic, perfect beard? Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. It's like it has its own separate zip code. All right, here we go. We are 5 seconds away. 4, 3, 2, 1. Music on. Let's have a good week, everybody. We're going to have some fun tonight. From the snowy mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, we have them free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and so much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Before we get started tonight, I just want to say a few important words about what is happening around the world right now. I think for the most part, we are all pretty much in a state of shock when it comes to the reactions from people and governments from around the world regarding the spread of the coronavirus. It's not good times right now. It's not fun. And for the most part, on a personal level, what I'm seeing on social media, combined with what I've seen with my own eyes, I don't think we're heading in a proper direction right now. Today, us Canadians took a jolt when the borders were closed, except to the United States, keeping the politics and pointing fingers out of this, because I do believe that is very important. We're all sitting here as global citizens wondering what is coming next. For us here at Spaced Out Radio, I want you all to know that we as a team and a business have discussed this matter. Unless something major happens, we have decided that we are not going to be discussing the topic in depth during this show. Some news articles will be read on the Newswire at the back end of every show, but we're going to do our best to steer this in a different direction. Our job is about the woo. Who doesn't love the woo? It's about UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, and everything in between. We think it's important to give you, our valued listeners, a break in your nights after being pounded and bombarded all day by the media. And we think it's important to give you that break in general, because social media is very, very difficult right now. People in general are very difficult. You need a break, and we are going to continue to be that break that you deserve. This world is in a place that the majority of us have never seen. It's stressful as we are all stuck on what to do. Start by caring for yourself, caring for your family and your neighbors. Don't be greedy. Be prepared to help. And as one of our listeners, Michelle on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio, she's a nurse, and she has stated to me and our Twitter crowd, wash your hands frequently. It's the best way to combat the spread of this disease. Keep your fingers out of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and overall, if you're at the store, the supermarket, Costco, wherever, don't be greedy. We need people to be human right now, and it starts with you. So please share that around because it is very important. It starts with you being human. Matt Lay has been involved in the paranormal for well over 3 decades. The United States Air Force veteran now lives in Regina, Saskatchewan, after marrying fellow paranormal investigator Alyson Ford a few years ago. The Mudutu Effect is a collaborative effort born from paranormal investigations with their group P.A.S.T. and over 35 years of research and practice in the occult and metaphysical realm. After years of frustration and watching the paranormal community literally eat its own, Matt decided to do something about it. He wrote a book called Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations, a basic guide for the serious investigator. He wants to help people understand that there has to be a purpose to the paranormal investigation rather than being a weekend warrior. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Matt Lay, you've been on the show a couple of times before, but your wife has always joined us and ruined the party, but tonight we have this magnificent beard that you are carrying around right now. God bless you for that. How you been doing, my friend?
I've been doing okay. I mean, like I said, the book, evolved because I've been in and out of the hospital and doctors for the past year, and spend enough time in bed and you hear all the nonsense and you watch it. You gotta find some way of correcting it. You can't sit there and just keep grinding your teeth.
You have been in the paranormal field for about 35 years. And over that time, and I've talked to a lot of longtime paranormal investigators, such as yourselves, about this, and I don't think it's being bitter as much as it is being disappointed, that you're disappointed with what this field has turned out to be. And what it has become. It's become tourism. It's become weekend warriors. Thank you to the television shows. And that's what I think you're frustrated about. Could I be wrong on that?
Oh, that's absolutely correct. I mean, people tend to base what they see on TV as the reality of these things, and they don't realize it's all for ratings and profits. And there's individual teams out there that's actually what spurred all this on, is not the television shows, it's individual teams that are pushing for profits, not for the research.
So we're going to get into that a little bit more later on tonight as we go on. Let's learn a little bit about you here, because I think that's important. 35 years plus as a paranormal investigator. I mean, you don't even look, 40 years old. What, do you start at like 5?
No, actually, right out of high school, I went on my first paranormal investigation because I was already I wasn't even an occultist back then, but, I was studying a lot, and I was asked to go on it. And that kind of opened my eyes because in that particular instance, and that was in 1986, the haunting, back then everything was a poltergeist. Nowadays everything's a demon. But back then everything was a poltergeist, and it turned out it was a little girl that was manifesting everything that was going on in the house. So with that being said, it kind of opened my eyes of what is this? So I started really getting more involved with not only the occult, metaphysics, and the paranormal, supernatural. It's kind of a blanket term there. But yeah, it's literally right out of high school. Actually, before I even graduated, I started forming an organization for an awareness. But I never had the field experience.
So, Matt, did you have personal experiences as a child?
Oh, yes. I mean, you grow up in the South. Nothing but woods around you. I mean, when I was a child, I was chasing Bigfoot, maybe a rooster in the tree line, but I thought it was Bigfoot. UFO sightings, and were always big in the South, along the Gulf Coast and Gulf Breeze, and then of course, with the paranormal and supernatural field, it was just, well, my family was very open, we'll put it that way, to those things. So it was always around me at all times. Not saying that I'm super sensitive or anything like that. I'm just saying that the exposure was always there for me.
Was it a family trait?
I would say yes. My brother was 17 years older than me, and he was always giving me books to read and explaining different occurrences that were happening. One of the occurrences was, to this day, I have an explanation for it, but when I was a child, my mother comes into the room and sees this really tall shadow figure. We've all heard the stories, but all over the world. But there was this tall shadow figure in my room. And, of course, I'm petrified. I'm laying there, and when she turns on the light, of course, it's gone. It's the same story that you hear to this day. And I experienced that as a small child. But these, all these different little things, some of it was superstitious based, because in the South, a lot of people are very superstitious, especially around the New Orleans area and whatnot. But it's because, like I mentioned in the book, fear manifests fearful things. And if you're scared to go late at night out into the woods or into a swamp because of this particular entity is going to be waiting for you, I guarantee you're going to manifest it.
Interesting. Very interesting. So, Matt, as you are going down this road and you're learning about the paranormal as a kid, you're trying to combine your childhood experiences with what you've learned throughout the years. Why did you decide that this was a pattern and a path that you needed to take?
Well, let me ask. I'm just going to ask you with a question. When you're driving to the store, there's probably a whole bunch of different roads you could take to get to the store, but there's one that you feel comfortable with, and that's exactly what the case is here. Is I'm comfortable with this. It doesn't feel like it's a path. It just feels like it's a way of life.
So, with that way of life, a lot of people won't choose that. I mean, you decided to choose that, and also connect to that with a career in the United States Air Force for 8 years. You've done quite well for yourself in learning. How did the military prepare you for what you are doing today?
Well, at the end of the day, if you think about it, anything you do in the paranormal or supernatural field is opening a line of communications, whether with yourself or what's around you. And I was in combat communications, and which is called frontline communications in the Air Force. And we were ground pounders. Never got to fly a plane. Sorry to disappoint anybody, but all I had was sand in my boots most of the time. But I'm very proud to say. But the thing is that everything I did in the Air Force was electronics. We had to learn how to repair everything on the fly, maintain communications, and you were always meeting different cultures. And it's really no different in my eyes than what I'm doing right now. And I'm maintaining communications. I'm creating electronic products or different items that were, technologies, so we can explore new theories. And I say new theories loosely. A lot of these theories have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's just now we have the technology to apply to them. And but meeting different cultures, meeting different, I'm not going to say the word entities, because not everything in a paranormal investigation is an entity. So, but you have to have that open-mindedness to be able to approach whatever's there. When you're going into another country or in a volatile situation, you can't sit there and be scared out of your mind. It's not productive, and they can see the fear in your eyes, and they'll feed off of it. So it's no different when you're sitting in the dark with a K2 meter and whatever equipment you choose to have, but it's honestly no different. And later on in the years, the Air Force decided to make me a pagan liaison for 3 different bases so that I could bridge that gap between other metaphysical, and I'm using that term very blanket, metaphysical groups to not conform, but to make sure that we could bridge that gap in between those different practitioners on the base, and they can still be a part of the UCMJ and be proper soldiers, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, it's for the entirety of it. I would say it helped me quite a bit. I used to spend time in my room writing in journals new theories that I got exposed to, by measuring frequencies and frequency variations, and I'd come up with new theories of how that could apply to the other realms and what was the pieces that we were missing.
Interesting, Matt. And so you make the move to Canada because some young hottie decides that she wants to investigate permanently with you. And and that's Alyson Ford, who is an amazing paranormal investigator up as well. And how did you two meet?
Well, we met in New Orleans, and it was quite interesting because neither one of us were looking for a relationship. We were there to get away and just have fun. And as time progressed, we carried on conversations, and I met her at Paracon in Winnipeg, and probably one of your favorite spots in Banff. That's actually where I in Johnson Canyons, and Banff is where I proposed to her. So, but it's I was always frequent, coming to Canada all the time anyway. But when we met, it just as things developed, just couldn't get enough of her.
Oh.
Found somebody with a like mind. Her exact words, "Why do you love me?" And I said, "Because you're me."
Perfect. Well, you know what? You guys make a great paranormal couple nonetheless. And, my door is always open to you guys. If you guys decide that you want to come hang out on the West Coast for a little bit just to see what's going on in the ghostly world. But let's focus on you here, because 35 years plus in the investigation area. And you've seen some highs, you've seen some lows in the paranormal field, yet, and I know we've talked about this in our brief conversations off the air as well, yet there was something picking at you here in regards to the way things have happened in the paranormal. What was picking you?
Well, the biggest thing that's picking at me is people getting taken advantage of. Because prime example here in Regina, a family was being taken advantage of by paranormal teams for thousands of dollars. And just because their daughter was autistic, they wanted to do an exorcism. I mean, come on, seriously. That the people they're preying on other people's fears, and those fears is out of television shows. And there's this huge misconception of what we're seeing on the television shows. It's being translated by the general populace, and there are paranormal groups out there that are taking advantage of that. And that eats at me. We should not be, number one, we're research teams. We're there to find answers. Number two, we should be helping people to understand what's going on. And lastly, the last thing we should be doing is taking advantage of a horrible situation. I mean, there are some very, there are teams forming for that sole purpose and for profit and for gain, and they don't care about the concept of the actual research. And and that's what the book. Yeah, it explains things in a one-on-one basis for a paranormal investigator, but for the person that's sitting at home says, I think I may have a ghost, or I may have this going on, or I may have multidimensional situation, the book is actually designed around cautioning them from people preying on them. So, because there are those vultures that are circling around, and they want to fly underneath the flag of, I'm a paranormal investigator.
And that's a big one. That's where a lot of people are very much losing trust, faith of what is going on in this field. As we've got about 3.5 minutes before we go to break at the bottom of the hour, Matt Lay is our guest tonight. When you look at the way the field has changed, never mind the popularity, but just the way the field has changed since you started investigating comparatively to now, what are a couple of those changes or directions that are now being used that weren't being used before?
Well, back in the old days, it was anywhere from laying a string across with a bell, or throwing flour on the floor, or just simple things like that. But technology has changed, and everything is evolving because there's new theories. People are being more open-minded. Legitimate researchers are. And so they're exploring new theories and applying new technologies to that. But at the end of the day, like we said off air, the best tool on any investigation is yourself. But we want more validation and more answers, because not everything is a ghost. I hate the term ghost hunter, and I've said that like 1,000 times in the book. I cannot stand that. I'm a researcher. I'm an investigator.
Well, the problem in this field, though, Matt, is the way people self-title in this field, whether it's the paranormal, UFOs, Bigfoot. Do we even know what the word researcher means when it comes to these fields? Because everybody's all hot to trot for a title.
Oh, yes, absolutely. A title really carries nothing. It's your actions. And everybody wants to be, and I'm going to use Alyson's quote, and I used it in the book, are you an enthusiast, or are you going to be a researcher, investigator? Because there's a big difference.
So what's the difference, as we got about a minute and a bit here?
Okay, an enthusiast is someone that watches the shows and says, God, I want to do that. I want to do that. That looks like something I would really be into. But they don't realize how much is involved. It could be up to 3 weeks. You may spend 14 hours on an investigation, but there's all the prep time before the investigation, the follow-up, the research after it, the new theories that you came up with. It's a continuous cycle. And maybe you have to go back and follow up with another investigation just to prove your theory's wrong.
Right. Absolutely. As I wipe out everything on my desk here. So how many times do you usually go back on an investigation?
It depends. Sometimes it's a pretty quick closure, and then there's some locations we've been back 3 or 4 times with the P.A.S.T team. Really?
Is it always different?
No. What is important is that you end up with a control. You have an environment where you know how
right.
things react. If you come back with a new theory and a new way to maintain communication, then and get more answers, then you know what to expect and how
right.
to build on that.
Right. Matt, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Matt Lay, brand new book, practical paranormal and supernatural investigations, a basic guide for the serious investigator, next on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned. My hands get really dry up here, so I have hand lotion. All right, so I'm using the hand lotion, and I just so ever so slightly decide that, I'll put the bottle of hand lotion back. Well, I set it on top of a cable, and it falls over, and now everything has fallen over and fallen to the ground. It's like, son of a bitch, but what do you do?
Well, one of the symptoms I've been having is shakes, and we had Alyson's birthday party the other night, and I'm like trying to pour a drink, and I end up pouring Coke everywhere, all over everybody. So.
Oh my goodness! Let's throw that up there. It doesn't need to be here. All right. Hi YouTube. How you doing? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Charge! Somebody's got to do it. It ain't being played in hockey rinks right now. All right. Oh. All right, let's go here. Just checking out the old Twitter scene right now, making sure I haven't missed anything. Dave was using yes. Here's the hand loyal ocean. I use Vaseline Intensive Care Advanced Repair. It keeps my hands nice and smooth. There you go. I am a hand lotion user. Some people. Oh,
same.
Science Bob is in the chat room. We got to flash his hi Bob sign right there. There we go. All right, perfect. Got that out of the way. All right. Son of a gun. I think I'm good now. God damn it. I think I'm good now. All right. So you lived in Saskatchewan now, what, 5-6 years?
No, actually, well, now 5 years. Yeah.
Well, good for you.
It's permanent residence, and going to be shooting for my citizenship and start targeting that in June. So. Do
you get to keep your dual?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah. Well, I want to be able to collect my social, insurance.
Yeah.
States.
Yeah, for sure. Now, is Alyson becoming an American citizen too? Or can she?
Well, it turns out, no, she's not. But it turns out once I start collecting my Social Security, she's also eligible for it once she gets the age.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So double dip.
Very nice. Very nice. And how long did you served in the Air Force for 8 years? How long were you overseas?
I was only overseas off and on for probably a total of 2 years, because back then we had a 120-day policy.
Yeah.
So it was, if you went over, you could be over for 3 months, or you could be over for 2 weeks. So it's kind of broke up. So probably total time is about 2 years. But I wasn't only over in the desert. I was also in South America, but I don't want to mention that on the air. That was with the DEA, chasing drug lords.
Oh. All right. Well, we won't say anything to the YouTube crowd or anything like that. Anyhow.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
All right, Shanna. Is it Shanna asking? Science Bob. Hello, Science Bob. Whoever you are, Corey. That's Robert McGuire. That's Science Bob. He wears a cape. He wears a cape, people, and he's not afraid to wear his cape in public. Yeah, Science Bob. Anyhow, I can't help it, man. Sometimes I'm just a weirdo. The American audience doesn't get it. You're getting Canadian humor now because you're right near Corner Gas in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally a stone's throw from it.
You must be like, what at the beginning were you like, what the hell? That's not even funny. How is that funny?
Yeah, it's just, well, actually, while I was in the States, I was watching some Corner Gas. So
see, Brett Butt from Corner Gas is not funny. He is like the Canadian version of Ray Romano, just not funny. But we're so starving for comedians now after Saturday Night Live took everybody from SCTV back in the day that we've decided that Brett Butt is apparently funny, and he's not. It hurts, it's painful, but what do you do? What do you do?
Well, I've got one for you, and this is for the YouTubers. Alyson wrote a script based on my experiences.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like it may be made into a movie.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun, man. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just want to see the guy that's going to play me. He better have a beard.
Damn right he better. Damn right he better. All right. We've got about 40 seconds here. All right. Science Bob is Robert McGuire. Science Bob. We're just clarifying here. Just clarifying. Come on, Bob. Stand up. Show everybody your cape. Hey, I want to remind you before we go to break here, a great way to support this show is to hit that super chat, as well as head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Grab yourself a shirt, something that says our name on it, and wear it around. Take some photos, put them on your social media, send them to me, so we can put them on our website, and it all looks good. Let's do this second half hour here. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. So I still have 1.5 feet of snow in my backyard. Nonetheless, the show must go on. And I want to remind all of you that if you are looking for our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight we are talking with author and paranormal investigator Matt Lay. He's got a great book out called Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations, a basic guide for the serious investigator. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hey, I want to ask you, in regards to this book, Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations, a basic guide for serious investigator. This is 35 plus years of investigations of do's and don'ts. Why is it important for people to have this book if they're involved in the paranormal?
Well, if you notice, I kept it short and sweet, because that's what people need. They don't need the sugar-coated nonsense that is floating out there. There's a few books that are floating out there, and one of the best books that I've ever read was, oh my gosh, I think it was like 1982 when I picked it up, and it was pretty much of the layman terms, just the basics, and that book inspired me beyond comparison. It covered ufology and all the different aspects, but it said that, it had the basic layman terms, and it was very blunt, and that's why this small little book is very direct. And I think, and that's why I kept it so small, is so that somebody could just throw it in their pocket. There's a lot of note sections. I'll put a glossary in it of generalized terms, but it's something I want somebody to have a go-to book without having to break their back and pick up a ridiculously expensive book and again, it's a practical guide. I could make something more in depth, a Britannica type thing, but it's I want people to have the basic knowledge to build on, because, like I always say, you have to build your own theories. You have to, but you have need something to build on, and that's why why I wanted to put this book out so bad, so that people would have something to build off of.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, a book like this, and I don't want to put it this way, but I'm going to, and I probably got it wrong. And the Canadian way to say is, I'm sorry for having to ask it this way, as you know. But did you write this book as much out of love as you did frustration from what you've seen the paranormal community turn into the last 5-6 years?
Oh, it was more out of frustration, and you can see it in the book. I used the words "these idiots" in the book multiple times. But but the thing is it is built out of frustration, 100%, because you watch how the paranormal community is, and they're trying to sell you on these different ideas instead of saying, because let me say, and you've mentioned it, that with all the experience, I am no expert. There's none of us that are experts. This is a constantly exploring field, and we're growing and learning. And if we're not learning, we have to be learning something. This is a pseudoscience, as most people would call it, but it's still science. And you have to be able to research and learn from it. And so none of us are experts, 100%. If we don't have all the answers. And myself, do not have all the answers. And the book is encouraging the person, and that's what I do whenever I'm talking to someone or doing a lecture, is I want to encourage people to seek out, find answers, and ask more questions. That's the only way this community, the paranormal and supernatural community, can grow, and is constantly asking questions. Challenge each other. Challenge what you see. We've seen some evidence where, like, that's it, and then we have a meeting to question it. What caused that? What could have caused that? And we want to know more answers. So at the end of the day, we should be always asking questions, but you need a foundation to build on. And the frustrating part is that there's too many paranormal investigators that they're saying, I'm an expert. So, and listen to me, I'm the only one who can give you the answers. It's not to pick on televangelists, but that's what they start to sound like.
But Matt, let me ask you this though: why, for the people out there who are just learning about this or wanting to get to know about this, why is this important? Okay, obviously asking questions is always a good thing, but what's the difference between just going somewhere and allowing the haunting to happen and actually investigating? What's the hurt in doing that?
There's no hurt, but the difference is you're not an investigator. You're not a researcher. You are an enthusiast. Someone wants the experience. If you're just going and you want to experience the haunting, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. As long as, and I mentioned it in the book, and we have a problem with that around this area, that's why I'm bringing it up, as long as you have permission to be on that location and you're being respectful. It's not only respectful to the property, but to whatever's going on there. Respect works both ways. And if you're not providing it, a lot of times you're not going to get it. So it's an enthusiast. There's nothing wrong with that. I like roller coasters. You know,
Yes.
hop on a roller coaster. That's an enjoyable experience. But I also have friends that like to stand there and watch them to see how they operate, and they will tell you the possible G-forces of this rotation. That's an investigator.
Right.
So,
but for the layman, for the layman out there, though, my friend, okay, who looks at this and maybe doesn't take it as serious as you, because you have made this a very impassioned part of your life. What's stopping them from saying, hey, Matt, why are you so worked up about this? Why does this upset you? Why are you so passionate about what is going on? We're just out there having fun, trying to, spook ourselves a little bit. And so tell me, why is this important?
Well, I think it's important because people need to understand what they're seeing and what they're feeling. And I'm going to, if it's okay, I'm going to use a reference. I did a lecture at Occulticon and just outside of Ontario.
Yes.
On Paranormal. And I played a recording. And I said, now you're in the, gave them, this is their scenario. You're in a dark room, you have no visible light, you can't even see your hand in front of your face, and you hear this, and I hit play, and it was this deep growl, nauseous voice. Everybody in the room, except for a few, said, well, I would run. I'd be out. And I said, but did you know that timing, frequency, the formulas that we use in this physical plane may not apply to another realm, whether it be multidimensional, whatever the case may be, ghost, doesn't matter. The concept here is when I played it in the current timing that it's supposed to be, it was my voice saying, hi, how are you? So I said, it's a perception of the reality. Are you there to be scared? That's fine. But that's your exhilaration point. If you're there for the haunting experience and want to understand what's going on, you have to have an open mind. So I asked someone to come up from the audience, and I said, what if you were in a room and you suddenly felt 3 slashes on your arm, and you went into the light and you saw 3 burn marks on your arm? Immediately, the woman says, well, I would think something scratched me. It was aggressive. I said, but what if I was operating at a different frequency? Because the rules may not apply from this physical universe to another. And I'll reach out and just tap your arm saying, hey, I'm here, don't worry. Wouldn't it burn you or scratch you? And I said, so it's a perception of the events that happen. So it's important for people that want to go experience it, just for the thrill, to kind of have an open mind to where, because a lot of people immediately, especially with the craze of TV, everything is demons, everything, and it's not always the case. It's people need to have an open mind, because as we get scared, we can manifest more horrors out of our own minds. And because, as I say before, fearful things, we create fearful things out of fear. And the more scared we get, the more it can also be contagious if you have a group with you. And so a layman going into these environments can actually manifest activity going on out of the other people's fears or themselves.
Right. So as you were writing this book and you were trying to break it down to the simplest of form, who did you have in mind for that? What was the purpose?
Well, I don't want to mention TV shows specifically, but we'll say one of the examples I actually give in there, and this one drove me absolutely batty. So the investigator opens up a door, and he sees a 12-foot tall demon with horns standing in front of the door, and it scared him. He ran, and he said the demon was after him. And everybody else, so many people bought into this. And they were, just, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is, okay, number one, stop. The door is, 7 feet tall? And he saw a 12-foot demon in the door. The perception of this is already off. Okay, he said he saw horns. Majority of your ancient texts depict either an angel or an entity with horns. So that's number one. That should be the holy crap factor. So at the breakdown of it, you saw something shadowy. Okay, that I'll accept. Now research it. What was it? But to immediately label it as a demon, which vast majority are doing, I've gotten a slew of texts and from the Mudutu Effect page and emails saying I have a demon in my home because people are getting wrapped up in these shows because of this particular show that I'm talking about. Because everything's a demon.
Yes.
Everything's not a demon, and and not everything's a ghost, and it's because of that panic and fear, people get wrapped up into it because it's not their fault. It's the only information they're being fed. So, I could go on ranting for hours on that one, but it's the important part is the information that's being made available to the general public is for entertainment purposes only, and unfortunately they can't see that because they see it as a reality show. Well, that's not reality.
Well, it is for ratings, though. I mean, let's face it.
Oh, absolutely.
It is strictly for money-making purposes. That's why they do it, and they've got, and I think we're pretty much all, don't have to be Inspector Gadget to figure out which show you're talking about here, but I mean, the idea behind it all is just the fact that there are people out there who absolutely love that show for one reason or another, and I can understand and I feel for your frustration. I have it too. I completely have it too. And unfortunately, though, the ratings say different, and unfortunately it's the ratings that are going to continue to contribute to this, if we could call it that, a mess of what they have made out of the paranormal. Now, I mean, the unfortunate part about it is there is no education to this, Matt. There is no real understanding, very few rules, very few guidelines. Have you come across people since you've written this book who have said, who the heck do you think you are, Matt, trying to tell me how I should or should not investigate?
Well, I've been fortunate so far. I did a book signing in Regina, and I actually thought I was going to have to put up chicken wire from the Blues Brothers scene to keep the bottles from hitting me, but it actually went very well. I've had only just a few minor backlashes, but I don't know if it's how I explain it. I thought I was being very rude, to be quite honest with you, because I didn't sugarcoat it, and I didn't, pet the fur on the cat, the right way. But it's so far I haven't had any backlash from it. Now, other teams I've had backlash in the past where I've called them out for damaging property because they're trying to. Because they saw on a TV show screaming and breaking things encourages the whatever to appear. I've called them out on stuff, and they got upset with me. But because of the book itself, no, I haven't had any backlash yet. I've been waiting for it. But for the most part, it's been actually welcomed, which is I'm still keeping my guard up.
No, but that's important to ask because I know when I have put such subjects up for my thought of the day on my Facebook page and Twitter. I have had a number of paranormal investigators when I've asked, should there be a rule book? Should there be a guideline? Should there be a governing association? A number of people have come out staunchly steadfast against that because they feel, who are you to tell me how I should or should not investigate? Is this a realm, because there are so many different tangents, that you can just use one way and one way only?
Well, really you can't. And another reason why the book is left very basic is because every case scenario, and the analogy I give in the book, and this, I'm glad you brought that up, is in the opening of the book, I mentioned an analogy that you go to the store to go pick up, toilet paper. Anyway.
Toilet paper, yes.
Yeah, and you get there and they don't have what you're looking for. So now you have to change your entire route. Now you got to go to another store. Now you get stuck in traffic. Now you're looking for, nothing is black and white. To go to a specific location and say, this is how I'm going to do the testing. This is how I'm going to conduct it, because it has to be dynamic and it has to change nonstop. And this is where the new theories come into play. I created a device that creates a ionic plasma field because of Alyson's theory about the DC voltage. So, we're not getting any activity, so let's try this. Maybe we'll try that. Okay, this isn't working either. Let's just pull out a set of dowsing rods and walk around. I mean, you got to be open to be able to adapt and change very rapidly if you're going to try to find out what's going on. I mean, we've found high EMF levels in a home enough to, we're talking 8,000 milligauss. That's very hazardous for anybody. And their response was, oh, thank God it's not a ghost. But, I'm like, no, you don't understand. You need an electrician in here now. But you have to be open to all these different possibilities and be able to adapt. So if you have a set guideline, rules, whatnot, that would constantly, nonstop be changing. Basic rules, like treat the property with respect, treat what's there with respect. You're not there to instigate a fight. Simple things, yes, I think those rules should apply. But and basic terminologies, understand what you're talking about. How many times have we heard on these TV shows, and once again, I'm not going to name them, oh my gosh, they have a Faraday cage in here. Well, that's actually a good thing. That means it's got proper grounding and there's shielding in there. We know exactly which TV show I'm talking about. But anyway, we mentioned them earlier off air. But understand the natural magnetic force in the area. Understand you could actually be sitting on. I know it's hypothetical, but I'm a firm believer in ley lines. You could actually be sitting on one of those, which could encourage activity. So, running water, what is the building made out of? All these things are adaptive. But if you don't know to look for those things, then that has to be a guide, a simple rule to understand what's going on. High levels of EMF. What is the minimum threshold? Standard home provides around 600 milligauss, unless you're really, really gone nuts with your grounding. But on average, a home provides that. Things like, is there, and this is a southern thing, we always have underground springs all the time. And understand the possibility you have a steady continuity of, because the stream flowing is an energy source.
Right.
So have to understand, all these different principles. So if that was a guideline, a rule to look at all these different aspects,
yes,
the history of the building.
Matt, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break at the top of the hour.
Okay.
Matt Lay, Investigations 101 here on Spaced Out Radio continues with Hour 2 next. Stay tuned. That's a good hour of radio. Good hour of radio right there, Matt Lay, and your Matt Lay's beard. Oh, yeah. If you're in the YouTube channel, look at the photo of Matt. Look at that gorgeous goatee. Tell me you wouldn't want to braid that. I would. Hey, Matt, I am just going to turn the commercials on. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. I just got to run my dogs outside, okay?
We're going to go on an exciting journey
into the
unknown.
Be right back.
I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend.
Back.
Woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
How y'all doing, YouTube? How y'all doing? You having a good night tonight? Matt, are you with us?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. We got about 3.5 minutes. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Charge! Come on, everybody. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Charge! God, I need a hockey fix.
still, I like watching it, but I still don't get it. I need to go to a live game still. I've been here.
Well, you're in Regina, right? Why haven't you got Pat season's tickets yet? WHL hockey's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I know. I should. I'm holding my head in disgrace. I haven't even been to a Rider game yet. So.
Oh well, that's okay.
I'll go.
That's okay. If you haven't been to a Riders game, that's okay, because the next thing you know, you're going to be waking up with your body painted green and you're wearing a watermelon on your head. You can't figure out how it got there.
That was my first encounter of a Rider fan. I saw that watermelon helmet, and I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know. I thought the Falcons were tough.
Oh, man.
No, I apologize if I'm going on rants.
No, go. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I got a quick question here. We'll open up with Joey's question, and then we got about almost just over 90 seconds.
Okay.
Waylon on YouTube, do not talk about Pepsi being almost out. Do not talk about Pepsi being almost out. That is not even fair, man. Not even fair. Them's fighting words. Them's fighting words.
But see, I grew up in a Coca-Cola, environment, Atlanta. So.
I was all Coca-Cola, man, up until a couple of years ago, and then I just made the switch. All right, we got 1 minute here. Hey, I want to remind all of you on our YouTube channel that a great way to support this show is a couple of ways. We got the Super Chat open as well. You can always head to our website, spacedoutradio.com/shop. Go to the SOR Vault, grab yourself one of our cool t-shirts and logos that we have, and then you can get yourself looking good in our gear. It's a great way to support what we do on a daily, nightly business. And besides, you would look good, and I want the photograph so that way I can use it on social media. So make sure you keep it on up. Keep it on up. Thank you so much for tuning us in. Hope you're enjoying it on YouTube tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always much more fun when you're here. And I'm going to cough. Hold on. All right. Let's see here. Here we go. Let's start hour 2.
Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, along with the digital side of Revolution Radio. Remember, you can keep up with us on YouTube. Watch the show live or check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Yeah. Give us a thumbs up as well, if you don't mind. We would appreciate that. Now, our password, we do it every night here on Spaced Out Radio. The Desert Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, Paltropolitan. Paltropolitan is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers. As the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and so much more. Tonight we are talking with paranormal investigator Matt Lay. He is based out of Regina, Saskatchewan, and we got to say thank you to him for serving for 8 years in the United States Air Force. He is a proud veteran. Matt, we'll give you a clap for that. Thank you so much for being a veteran. We love our veterans around here. Matt has a brand new book out, Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations, a basic guide for the serious investigator. I am giving out 2 of these tonight because Matt sent me 3, and I'm going to give out 2 copies. That's what he would like to do tonight. So We'll figure that out later on in the show, how we're going to do that. But I want to ask you, Matt, in regards to paranormal investigation, one of the trigger words for me and many people out there is the word science. You know, I'm a firm believer, Matt, and I have argued this until I was blue in the face with paranormal investigators. We're not conducting science. We're not in a laboratory. We're not seeing the same things happen over again. We're not doing anything scientific. We may be using scientific method for some people or scientific type technology, but there isn't a lot of science, true science, actually going on in this field. Are you as sick as I am about hearing paranormal teams hide behind the word science?
Yeah, because I haven't heard one time them say the word theory, because that's what most of it is. We're using, like you said, scientific method, and the methods that I'm using is based off of experience, but there's a bunch of other methods out there, but they're all based off of theories, because as soon as we find, not an answer, but a different direction on that theory, we have to take it and build a new theory. We are no different. If you want to use the term science, throw the word theoretical in front of it, because everything is theory. If we want to use, like you said, science, we would be like in a lab, and we would be digging more in depth in that type of environment, versus we're going out. I mean, if you want to use almost, well, I can't even come up with a word. But I would love to see the word theoretical. I mean, even quantum physics uses the word theoretical in front of it. It's because that's what it is. We have ideas, we have experiences, but we build our experiences on theoretical ideas based on, okay, I'll put it in really layman terms. Time, space, everything that we have formulas for in science is based on this physical realm. We do not have the remaining parts of the formula for the other realms, whatever they may be. Whatever your definition is, we do not have those missing pieces of those formulas. So if it was science, we would have those pieces of the formula. We would be able to understand the odd growl that happened right away. It wouldn't be, we would have that scientific formula to build on. There is no science to this because we're missing pieces of these formulas. The basic formula for time is broken up into three parts. Or even with electronics, it's no different. But because we're dealing with, you have to have an open mind of a multidimensional being, or maybe these are, if you look at different universes, or you're looking at ethereal planes or astral, or no matter what it is, we are in the physical world, and all of our formulas are based on the physical world. So we cannot use our science for those realms because we don't know what those applications are. So if you ever want to throw up an argument of science being used, ask them what their formula is, because they can't give it to you. Now, if you want to say, so you're a theoretical science, that almost sounds like a slap in the face, but it's true. And you have to be able to embrace that.
Yeah, and you're right. Many paranormal teams cannot. I always found it interesting when I would interview paranormal teams back when we were still a pretty young show. And I would ask them, well, what do you do with your evidence? Well, we collect it. Okay, well, what do you do after you collect it? Well, we go through it to see what's on there. Okay, well, what do you do after that is done? What do you mean? We store it. Okay, but what's the purpose of storing it? What are you doing with it? What are you doing scientifically to try and figure out any type of patterns, any type of similarities, any type of nuances that could be construed into any point of scientific theory? And nobody does that. And it's insulting to the field, especially to scientists. And this is my opinion, why people laugh at this field, is because we continually put our own foot deep in our mouths because we use the wrong language for what we are actually trying to accomplish.
Well, I'm very proud to say that the P.A.S.T. team continually, nonstop researches and reviews evidence. There's been some times we thought we had hardcore evidence, and it will constantly be nitpicked as to whys and, what could be done differently, and what was the environment? Was there any humidity change? Was there a static charge in the air? Was there all these different things? And there's been a lot of times we thought we had hardcore evidence that we found out, no, it was not, because it was a natural occurrence. Well, okay, let's say now we have to throw out that evidence. The second part of that is why did it happen? Why did we perceive it as this? So we know this is not real evidence. What caused our ocular sensations to see the man in the hat or the woman in the trees or hear this voice? When you can't come up with an answer, by definition, it's paranormal. But, which, oh my gosh, I was going to slide right off the rails by saying the horrible term paraunity.
Oh,
but anyway,
that's a disgusting thing.
I just can't stand that term. It's such a contradiction. But anyway, use a dictionary, folks. Anyway, sorry. But you got to always be, once again, asking questions. And the other part of it is, say, like, we do get evidence. We want to share it with other teams so that they can look at it from a different point of view. Because we're all looking at it from, luckily the dynamics of P.A.S.T. is very diverse. And so it's not like it's a single-minded, this is how we look at it. We're not just a group of psychics. We're not just a group of this. We're not a group of that. It's we're always challenging each other because we look at things differently.
Right.
And but sometimes you need another team, a legitimate team, to look at it. Now they may say, "Wow, did you check to see if right there in that section, did you check for a reflection on the edge of that door frame? Because it might have caused that apparition because of a lens flare." Holy crap, we didn't check that. You need those extra eyes on it. But unfortunately, you do that nowadays and say, hey, check out this piece of evidence. Well, we got one better than that. Because, come on, let's challenge the evidence. Let's learn from it. Stop it.
There is an up-onesmanship in this field,
yeah.
and I don't think very many people enjoy that. And like, I listen to a lot of paranormal radio, well, at least I used to when I started, and it's like every paranormal radio show, and I'm sure many of our listeners who have turned into podcasts or anything like that will hear that, where they'd be, well, what kind of gear do you use? Tell us about your gear. Oh, you use a K2 meter? Shame on you. We gave up on those years ago. They're just not very scientific, or something along those lines. There's almost, it's almost like a plotting scheme to try and get people to take it your way or the highway. And that is a very difficult task for a lot of people, Matt, because we don't know what the right way is. And yet so many people out there, Matt, are afraid to admit that their way may not be the right way. Is that pure ego, or is that just the fact that they are so convinced that their way works for themselves?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like talking to a Chevy owner versus a Ford owner. They're not going to bend. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, they're going to argue the point their car is better, no matter what. Even though they had probably got the same engine from the same plant, but people tend to get in their comfort zones and don't want to get out of it. And they want to say that my way is the right way and, whatnot. There is no right way to it. And you are absolutely correct. People, in every one of my lectures, I tell everybody they are the best tool. I don't care about all the fancy gadgetry, and I kind of review it in the book, touch it briefly on some of the cautions of the gadgetry, what its primary purpose is. If you understand what the primary purpose is, then you can use that to your benefit. But if somebody says, walk around with this K2, I've seen this on investigations. People walk around with K2 meters like they're wearing a red shirt in an episode of Star Trek waiting to die. I mean, it's just hilarious to watch this. But because they think it's going to fend off whatever's in the dark. But they don't look at what the purpose of it is. Or EMF pumps. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry if anybody loves using
what's an EMF
pump? Electromagnetic frequencies, they pump these things in the air, and they don't realize they can cause their own hallucinations. High levels of EMF can disrupt the beta and the theta waves of the brain and cause either headaches, nausea, or things like that. But people are sold on these things that they're the greatest thing out there, and they're actually introducing harmful frequencies into the environment. So, unfortunately, but I'm going to go into the twofold part of that. If I'm a paranormal team and I have ties to a paranormal store, not naming names, and I want you to use these devices because I get a discount on the devices I get to use. There's more people I push. And that people got to realize that it's a commercialized field. And unfortunately, from television all the way down to people pushing, I don't even want to say name brands, different devices that, we use devices, we experiment with them. Some of them are probably not too safe. Corey, I know you're listening, so you can vouch for that. But I try different things, but we don't put these things up for sale. We want the information.
Right.
I created a funny story. I created what is called it's actually called I'm trying to think. It's a particle accelerator, but it's not using a linear particle acceleration. It's actually using the natural or magnetic field. So, but inside the core is close to 2 million volts, DC. And Corey came over, and I'm showing it to him, and I said, it's perfectly safe. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he got his finger too close to the cord, and I saw about a 3-inch spark right up to him. And so, yeah, he can vouch for some of my ideas. They're probably not the safest in the world. But still, because we know that high electromagnetic fields, natural magnetic fields, can cause more activity, everybody has validated that. Well, let's find out why. Let's increase that. Let's have a contained area. Let's see if that changes the dynamics. So that's where the theories have to come into play. Okay, well, I didn't do a thing. Back to the drawing board. So, but these people that push devices and push their way are usually have a different agenda in mind.
Matt Lay is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We got about 4.5 minutes left till we're going to take a break at the bottom of the hour, Matt. You know, regarding the whole scientific aspect of everything, I want to get to Joey's question here in our Space Travelers Club on our website. He is asking, earlier on in the first half hour, you mentioned about studying frequency variation. Are you talking about acoustic spectral analysis or just what specifically?
Well, everything can be measured in frequency, in hertz, whether acoustics, audio, or in energy. So it's the full spectrum that you have to be looking at. So, if you're looking for audio, understand you have infrasound. Everybody is hooked up from 20 hertz on up. Nobody's looked at 0 to 20. And there's actually measurement devices, and there's a way you can modify it, even a cardio microphone to pick up from 0.5 up to 20. So we're not listening correctly. We're not listening to the full spectrum. You can't hear that with your ears, so that's why you have to have a spectrum analyzer. Look for the variations. Energy-wise, measure it in hertz. That's a frequency. An outlet, 120 hertz, 60 hertz is what your K2 looks for. We're always looking for frequency variations, whether we know it or not.
All right, let's continue on here. In regards to the scientific aspect of everything, what should we be looking for? And we may have to take this into the next half hour as well. But what's the purpose? What are we supposed to be looking for in this? Because my thinking of it is we have this all-important question, Matt. Is there life after death? Because that is the one question that is going to hit and affect each and every one of us. Each and every one of us.
That's true.
And yeah. I'm sorry, running in to get an EVP or to see the 10,000 plus people who will rush into Waverly Hills for the experience or Gettysburg or someplace like that, that doesn't interest me. I'm wondering where all of these brilliant people are, Matt, and why they aren't coming together to try and solve this ultimate life question. Yet we're not doing that in the paranormal with the amount of brain power we actually have in it.
You have a very good point, and I have a rather lengthy answer for you. And it's not an answer, but it's a different point of view. And so cut me off when it's time, but the point is that we are not looking backwards. Now, it sounds kind of ironic, don't it? You know, we're talking about coming up with new different theories and whatnot, but we're not looking backwards. There are old texts. I have a massive library of old ancient texts from all over the world, and they all cover these ideas, all from all over the world, and old theories from Iceland, from, you name it. And if we look back at what their theories were, we can build on going forward. But unfortunately, they have a taboo to them as being, there's a strange occult factor there, like one of your thoughts of the day. What's the occult? You saw the negative reaction you had. But unfortunately, and fortunately, there are so many texts available out there that people won't read because it has that taboo type feel to it. So we need to look backwards at some of the text that's available to understand looking forward.
I can understand that, and we're going to get more into that when we come back from the break, because I think we've run out of time at this bottom juncture here to even try and tackle such an important type topic. But I really do believe that, you know, that, and I'm curious to get your opinion. Why are we not trying to solve any of these mysteries in the paranormal? I find it frustrating. I think a lot of people do. I would never let a paranormal team that I didn't know into my house. I really wouldn't.
I agree.
Matt Lay coming in next to talk about that and more about his new book on Spaced Out Radio as we continue right after this. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. Hey, everybody on YouTube. How you doing? Having a good time, Matt?
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff, man.
You get into one of my favorite topics.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I know. I am one frustrated cookie when it comes to the paranormal, man. Honestly, like it's not that I don't want to bring anybody on to talk paranormal, because I love the subject. I really do. Mm-hmm. But there is just way too much stupid out there right now that it's not even worth it. Not even worth it.
Oh, I agree. And, you know, and I'll touch on it on this next hour, but the ones that are on the television shows that want to be legit, that's why they're not on shows anymore. And there's a few of them that I still talk to that have come up with some amazing theories, you know, but nobody wants to listen to them. Yep. So they send them to me to experiment with them.
Hey, Matt, give me 2 seconds. Just continue your chat for our audience.
Okay. But, you know, they send me their theories, and we'll play with them and see what we can come up with. And it's sorry guys, I'm a smoker. I had to step out. But at this point in time, there are no bad theories. So we have to be able to experiment with whatever is presented.
Sorry about that, brother. I had nose goblins and I had to get them out.
No, I was just saying a minute ago that there's no such thing as bad theories. And when we get to theories, well, I'll get theories and I'm like, at first I have to sit on it for a little while and then come back with, you know, hey, let's look at it from this different angle, and next thing you know, we're building off of it.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it's you got to have an open mind, and going back to what you said, there's too many people out there going, nope, there's no way. And there are people on these TV shows that are no longer on TV shows because they wanted to be legitimate investigators. And there's no ratings in that.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. Why would there be, man? Why would there be?
Yeah, but unfortunately, they still reach out to me, and they come up with new ideas, and I come up with a device and test it. My favorite one recently was we used heat lamps.
Heat lamps.
Heat is energy.
Right.
So if something needed to draw from energy, wouldn't it siphon off of this low wattage heat lamps and be able to manifest as it crossed?
Could very well be.
Yeah, so we did it in a location that we've investigated dozens of times, and we call it evidence. So it doesn't mean he's right. Maybe we need to modify it differently, look at it differently. But it was a start. It sparks the theories. So.
Yeah. We've got about 2.5 minutes here, just so you know.
Okay. I just love the what ifs. I don't like how-to lectures. I like what-if lectures. I want people to walk out of a lecture and go, what if?
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Where are we? All right, we got just over 90 seconds here.
Okay. Well, when we get somewhere in there, I want to be able to plug the building
Sure.
for what we're planning on doing in the future.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Let's just see here. All right. We have got 1 minute. 1 minute. And one hair on my microphone. There it is. I got the bastard.
I can't talk.
Oh.
I'm shedding all the time.
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. Hey, YouTube subscribers and everybody on there watching, want to remind all of you that a great way to support this show is to help out in the super chat or head to our website, spacedoutradio.com/shop, which takes you to the SOR Vault. We got great t-shirts, great swag for you to pick up with some fantastic logos. It's a great way to support what we do here on a nightly basis and help spread the word of love. If you can't do that, a nice thumbs up works just as well, or sharing it and telling a friend all about us. So thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate it around here at SOR HQ. All right, Matt, we got about 10 seconds or so, and then we are off and running. Off and running.
Is that another toilet paper joke?
No, no. But I do have a full roll. I'm willing to part with it for about, $1,200 right now. Hold on. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have each and every one of you with us tonight. Want to remind all of you, stop hoarding your toilet paper. Help out some seniors while you're out there. Also, our archives are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and doing a little shopping, as well as reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. So check it on out. Matt Lay is here tonight. He's got a brand new book out on the paranormal called Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations, a basic guide for the serious investigator. We're talking about that tonight. And right before the break, Matt was just getting into some details about, what are we trying to solve? What are we trying to prove? What are we trying to accomplish? It's amazing. Even if you go on Facebook, and you can do a little test on this, if you're involved in the paranormal field or just have an interest of it and have a bunch of paranormal friends, put on your Facebook, what are you trying to solve with the paranormal? It's amazing that rarely, Matt, will you get anybody saying, I want to know if there's life after death. Why not?
That is true.
It's kind of an important question for us all.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And you got to understand, most of your answers are going to be religious-based when it comes to life after death. Quick story. In 2001, and here's your giggle for the audience after I picked on Corey playing with the particle accelerator. In 2001, July 3rd, in Georgia, I was hit by lightning and went flatline in Douglas County Hospital. And So I didn't hear the voices, I didn't see angels, I didn't see all these different things, but I did feel the most peace I'd ever felt in my life. I was actually mad at the doctor for bringing me back. But the point I'm trying to make is that everybody's experiences, even though they sound somewhat similar by definition, are different. And the thing is, the life after death is going to be based on the analogy of the upbringing of the religious points of views or their cultural points of views. It's not always religion. It could be geographic, cultural points of views. Now, in old Icelandic text, it says that we'll be reunited with the cosmos. Actually, in a lot of text, it says that. As it says, we'll be reunited to the but we maintain our individual will. So this goes back to the whole ghost hunting thing. Why treat it like it doesn't have a personality or a will of its own? One of the most my annoyances with this whole life after death thing is when people say, I'm going to send them to the light. I want to just lose my mind when I hear that. Because evidently whatever is there had something to say, and you did not want to give them the courtesy to communicate. So life after death is going to be a broad response, because I think if someone came back at you and says, we're trying to find the answer of life after death, well, that's going to really base on the geographic region, really going to base on their individual beliefs, because everybody has a different point of view. Now, to find that unified answer, let's say you do find the answer, and would you really, really want to tell everybody, if I knew the answer right now, how many other cultures would I offend, or could very well make them very upset? Would I ever really be able to say it? I mean, honestly, would you be able to say that if you knew the answer to it? Because there's so many different cultures that believe in so many different styles of life after death, that you would be, right away, you'd be rejected. If you would turn around and said, it's this. We found out, here's our evidence. Doesn't matter how much evidence you put on the table. There are going to be a few that go, I knew I was right. Then there's going to be a few, that quite a number of them, that are going to come after you because you just contradicted their cultural and religious beliefs. So to find the truth would be a very bold move. But life after death, once again, looking back at old texts, I know what I believe individually. I have found no evidence in it. But if I look back at old text, there's a common denominator of rejoining a collective, whatever your definition. You can call it God, the creator, the cosmos, whatever the definition is. There is a common denominator of being part of a collective in all these different old texts. I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just saying that's what all these old ancient texts are stating. Now, whether or not it becomes a heaven-hell thing, it becomes that's an individual's path, cultural, type concept. What our answer should be in a paranormal investigation is finding the missing pieces of the equation. That would be, what are you trying to find out? I'm trying to find the missing pieces of the equation so I can communicate and coexist.
All right. So here's another theory on that. All right. Because granted, the majority of us, I will agree with you, the majority of us are basing our own theories, our own thoughts on maybe the way we were grown up or maybe how we were taught to believe. It may not be the best, but that's kind of the way we've all kind of structured it. And our lives have been structured. Okay, if I use me for an example here, which I think is the only fair thing to do, okay, I can tell you right now, I'm a believer in God. I am not a religious person. You can't get me into a church. All right, because I just don't feel comfortable in them. That being said, I do, I would consider myself a creationist. I would consider myself someone who is not very divine of what I should be doing as a person and as just a good human being. I do screw up. Now, that being said as well, I also look at it as my personal belief in the paranormal side of things is there is something going on. Is it a heaven? That's the way I would tend to believe it. All right. I know that not everybody out there would be believing the same way I would, whether it's the pagans, whether it's the Hindus, whether it's the Buddhists or whomever it may be. But for my own case, I want to know. I want to know bad what is going on. So when you ask, would I tell somebody? I'd never really thought about it that way. Personally, I know me. I am kind of a big mouth. That's why I have a radio show. So there's a good chance that I would blab about it. There's a very good chance. Would I be doing it to hurt someone's feelings? No, of course not. However, I sure as heck am not going to keep my mouth shut. I've got the story of the century, man. I got the story of a century. And I'm going to go with it. I'm going to run with it, as they say. And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I've never been a loudmouth too much, except for the book. I've always been a fairly reserved person, and I do, respect other people's opinions and their theories and their points of views because. It's repetitive throughout the book. Respect. It doesn't matter if it's with us, and so to convey that information, if you knew 100%, it would. I think if it was done in a respectful mannerism, it may not be embraced, but it would be faced with less opposition.
True, true. But I guess at the end, and maybe we've taken this a little bit too far off range. And if I reel us back in here, like a good fisherman would, I think the point that I'm trying to make here, Matt, is too many times we have a bunch of people collecting a bunch of so-called evidence that just sits in a computer hard drive that we're not doing anything with when we could be trying to solve some of these very interesting mysteries that we're trying to solve rather than to try and figure out whether or not we're actually talking to Aunt Helen at the old family farm who died in 1928.
Yeah, agreed. And unfortunately, and once again, I'll state it, I'm not a fan of the term ghost hunter. When a paranormal investigation or supernatural investigation is going on, you have to have an open mind of all the different theories. And we're firm believers in the multidimension concept. There is that possibility that we're not chasing a ghost. We may be chasing a possibility of a multidimension, another person. We could actually be chasing a projected energy that's manifested from one of us. So to always look for ghosts, no, we're not ghost hunters. That term just grates me beyond belief. Actually, my uncle said in his exact words after he read the book, says, remind me to never call you a ghost hunter, because I think I've said it throughout the book. I made my point very clear.
Yeah, I know where you're going with that, Matt. In regards to a couple of years ago, we were doing. Some of my listeners may remember this story, but we were doing a paranormal tour investigation at one of the local hotels, and we came across. It was on the Gold Rush Trail. And it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, okay? And we came across these spirits, and they were Chinese, and they were making their way towards a place called Barkerville, British Columbia. I think there were 9 of us on that tour. And here's what kind of screwed me up with this, and I'm curious to get your opinion on it, and this is why I'm bringing it up, okay? When we were done talking to them, and everybody's kind of like, oh, that's so cool. And I admit it was cool. It was a very cool situation. They were still there, even after we said goodbye. And this is what kind of messed me over with it, was all I had on me was a K2 meter, because the weather was pretty bad. We had some rain showers, snow showers, going on. And as I walked down the path, I realized that they were in a horse and buggy. They had a horse and buggy with them. And then I noticed that they couldn't leave because we were in front of them. They couldn't move because we were right there. So what we ended up doing was I yelled at everybody in the group. I said, hey, let's get off the path. And we all stood there. Everybody had K2 meters. And we all stood there. And as they passed from those people to the end of the trailer, the K2s went off. Okay, they went from full lights, okay, 9 K2 meters, all lit up to red. Okay, and as this cart passed, down the path, those K2 meters stopped working. Their lights went off. They turned off. And so that really got me wondering in something that you said, which is, how do we know we're not dealing with dead people, but instead we're maybe dealing with people who are on another collective timeline that repeats itself? Because the one thing we do not know scientifically is how many timelines are running right now.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny because in the realm of the practitioners, they and myself, we don't really look at time in the same fashion. So it's not necessarily a time loop, but it's possible it was a singular point in time that collided. And now, here's my analytical thought. Yes, they were in a cart, but did they have a cell phone on them that was broadcasting a Wi-Fi signal or something like that? Were they streaming music and they turned it down because they had a cell phone on them? As they passed, all your K2 meters would have triggered. So that would have been my first thought right there. Now, if they were wearing clothes of a particular time period, and they're in the cart, I would have questioned it a little bit more. Now, my first thought would still go to the cell phone, but I would have immediately started thinking the same concept with the time. Did we reach a point in time that coincided with another? So it's that's where the thought process has to constantly trigger. And I'm not saying, and I want to back up what I said a minute ago. There are ghost situations. I'm not saying that everything's not a ghost. I just don't like that term. But I really like the idea of a singularity point colliding, because I believe that happens personally. I believe that does happen more often than people realize. They just don't know how to recognize it right away. And it's not until it's an afterthought. A lot of times you're going, well, wait a second.
Yes.
So because it is an uncommon event, or it could be way more common than we thought, but we just don't, what makes it common is being able to recognize it, so.
Couple questions for you is we got about 3.5 minutes before we're going to break, 4 minutes before we're going to break at the top of the hour. Matt Lay is our guest tonight. Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations, a basic guide for the serious investigator, is his brand new book. Now, Matt, question coming from Joey in our Space Travelers Club. He is asking, when spectral analyzing audio, are you looking for evidence of base format indicative of human speech from EVPs? If not, why not?
I'm not, actually. Well, it's a yes and no answer. You're looking for the full spectrum. When you got the spectrum analyzer going and you see a rise in the range that you cannot hear, it could be something as simple as a ground, causing that, you're a musician, so you know how a bad ground will cause that low hum. No one else can hear it, but it'll show up on a spectrum analyzer, or when you're doing the finalization on your music, you'll hear that sometimes. So it's no different. You want to pay attention to that so you can isolate just two things. Okay, if you have a bad ground, that could cause other issues with your equipment and also cause, an EMF spike or different things like that. Or it could be an actual paranormal activity going on that you need to identify. The spectrum analyzer, using a full spectrum sweep beyond the hearing capabilities, and within the hearing capabilities, because you see the spikes when people are talking and you see a second spike behind it, you need to isolate it and find out what that is.
All right. Let's go to another question here. This one comes from Waylon in YouTube land, all the way from Bama. He is asking, we are looping back and forth through time? Is this what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that points in time can, in an alternate universe, can collide to that specific point. So, there's a billion different theories out there, theoretical theories. Theoretical physics have pointed out that we collide at different points in time. Even the old alchemical charts say that the specific time at the specific hour is the weakest point between these type of veils. So all these theories have been around for a long time, and as they intersect, you may be seeing a point in time for either an alternate universe or a different dimension in that aspect. I mean, it wouldn't be uncommon, just say, for example, Dave, what would happen if you actually ran into yourself? It wouldn't be a loop, but it could be an alternate version of yourself.
No, we'll talk. We shall talk. You kind of hit one home there. I had the weirdest dream. Oh, this is going back a couple years ago, where I actually ran into myself in a different timeline. It reminded me, when what's the movie I'm thinking of? Sin City. Remember the kind of cartoonish acting mix in the movie Sin City?
Oh yeah.
That's what this dream was like. And I actually ran into myself. And I was told by myself on this rainy, windy night somewhere in the United States, of old school United States, I remember the dark me telling me that if I wasn't him, he would have killed me by now. It was weird.
That's interesting.
It was very weird. It was very, very weird. I don't know if I like that or not. I really don't. I could think of better things to be saying to myself or what have you. but it was very, very dark, and it was scary. It was absolutely scary because I'd never seen that dark side of me before. I mean, sure, I've been in fights and been angry before. You know, that's what hockey is about. But anything else...
Or that could...
Sorry?
Yeah, or it could be just a tap into the subconscious of something that's inside of you that's never been unleashed.
Exactly.
You know,
that's what I don't know. That's what I don't know. Matt,
yeah,
we got you for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio coming up right after this. So you sit back, relax. All of you out there, sit back, relax. We'll be back right after this with Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio. The thought of the day, the SOR Newswire coming up as well. Stay tuned. All right, there we go. I'm just going to run my doggies outside one final time, and I'll be right back, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, be right back.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines Report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together, we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com.
The commercials off. How we all doing tonight? YouTubers, how y'all doing? You enjoying tonight's show or what? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Thank you. I'd appreciate that. Let's crack open another can of Pepsi, shall we? Yes, I already know I have an addiction. Matt, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
You having fun or what?
Oh, yeah. I love talking. Especially about this subject.
I don't blame you.
Because I got that YouTube channel where I discuss a lot of the theories, and thank goodness we have a green screen. I can play with it, to illustrate, the different theories and whatnot.
Yeah. I hear you there. I
can't wait till we get to. Once we get to the new building, then we'll be resuming the videos. So.
Well, that's good. That is good. We've got about 2.5 minutes here, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, so far locally, everybody seems to be really enjoying this.
Yeah, so. Good. I think a lot of your people are watching on YouTube tonight.
Oh, okay. I know Corey and Shar and Babs and Jim and Terry and I'm trying to think of who else was on there. There's shout outs.
That's good. That's good. Just don't let Corey wrap you too much up in Rough Rider green.
I'll just have him put his finger in another device.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I actually had one of my Saskatchewan listeners send me a foam Saskatchewan Rough Riders watermelon hat.
Oh, jeez. I've got to get to one of those games sometime or another.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. You know what? I will wear that. In tribute of you being from Saskatchewan, I will wear that the last half hour.
He's going to wear
I'm going to wear it. So when you go check this shit out on YouTube, hold on, let me put my headphones on first.
Go to YouTube, take a look.
Yes, Corey, I am wearing pants. All right. All right, there we go. There we go. I'm wearing it for you guys for the last half hour of the show. So you should probably tell Alyson to go check YouTube right now. There you go.
She's trying. Our internet's so poor right now. It's ridiculous, but she's trying to get on there.
All right. Hold on, buddy. Here we go. Music's on.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, along with our digital crowd on Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Paltropolitan. Paltropolitan is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and doing a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Don't forget, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. It is updated daily. For the final time tonight, we introduce Matt Lay, great paranormal investigator out of Regina, Saskatchewan, and his latest book, Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations, a basic guide for the serious investigator. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Matt. This is a show that's flown on by so far.
Oh, yeah, this has been fun.
It has been fun. And our YouTube crowd, just so you know, is absolutely loving the fact that because you live in Saskatchewan, that I am wearing a foam watermelon head right now. You can check it out on our YouTube channel. Right
yeah,
now.
I just took a look at it. You might have to go to widescreen on that one. I haven't seen one that big.
Yeah, it's big. It is completely big. You know, but the things we do for our audience around here. So thank you so much. Matt, you know, we were talking right before the break in regards to life after death. What should we be solving? What shouldn't we be solving? Where should we be going with this entire field? And you'd started off, and we unfortunately had to cut you off once again. What's the goal? What is the goal of what we are trying to do? Is it prove different dimensions? Is it proving that we can communicate with the other side? In the end, what is the end goal?
Well, you just pretty much answered the question. The thing is that because there's so many theories, and it's always evolving, well, there should be evolving theories. Unfortunately, there's not in some cases. We should be doing all the above. There's not a singular one that we should be doing. I mean, we have to take in consideration, someone says, you go to a location, paranormal investigators should go to a location. They say, for example, at night, between these hours, this happens, whatnot, more than likely because they watched the wrong TV show. They're saying a demon popped out or something. But anyway, with that all the above answer, okay, is it a spirit? Is it a multidimension? Should we take in consideration an abductee? You have to keep your mind open to all of those possibilities. You can't just walk in and say, there's a ghost. Like you said earlier, it's their great aunt, sitting in that rocking chair. There are so many theories. You have to keep them all into consideration. Now, to find what answer you're trying to find the missing pieces of the equation. The equations are the ones that I mentioned before are based on our physical world. You want to be able to understand what's going on, but unless you are trying to find those missing pieces, you're not going to. All you're going to do is speculate. So, if a ghost hunting team walks in, they're immediately going to tell you it's a ghost. That's what they do. If a paranormal team walks in, they are going to immediately looking at all the different theories. Is this geomagnetic disturbance? Is this UFO causing this? Is this multidimension? Is this, all these factors have to come into play. So what are we trying to find? We're trying to find an answer that's going to help this person cope with what's going on and find a solution to also for us as well to find those missing pieces of the equation so that every time we walk into a location, we have a better answer.
Right. I want to get into the technology side of everything. Mm-hmm. Ghost hunting, I know you hate that term, but I'm going to use that for a second. Ghost hunting has always been about feel and your own intuition combined with the technology that is out there to see what we can find, what we cannot find. My question to you is this: has the technology taken over to a point where we're too reliant on it? That we are, we're not using our own intuition any longer to try and figure out if there is something actually out there that is causing these feelings that we are having?
Well, I think we're not exploring. What is the word that I'm trying to find on this one? We're not exploring new technologies or incorporating old ones, for example, like the dowsing rods I mentioned earlier. The thing is that we are wrapped up in this day and age of what is going to give us instant validation. What you're going to see, you send a message on Facebook, you want a response. So you keep hitting refresh. You want to know. You send an email, you hit refresh. You want a response. Time in this realm versus another realm may not coincide. You may ask a question, but because you were impatient, you started asking another question. You may not have actually heard the answer. So we do get wrapped up in the technology a little bit too much. And this is coming from somebody that's always coming up with gadgets for us to use. But I'm also a firm believer that nobody's going to believe the fish story unless you have the fish in your hand. And so the devices that I come up with, anywhere from the ionized fields for the DC current or the different lighting. The most recent theory was to bombard an area so that we end up with almost like an X-ray pattern. There's the technology that people want, unfortunately, are the ones that have the blinky lights, have some type of validation type, screen on it that's going to tell them yes or no. They want those Christmas tree lights going at all times. Most of the devices that I've put together are to add on to other devices or like you said, the human experience. Our bodies put off a natural static field. So when we experience a cold spot, is there a drain on that static field? So everybody focuses on temperature, not the drain on the static field on the body. So there's nothing really flashy or wonderful about that. But because of that, nobody wants to do that.
All right. So have we become too technical? Have we pushed our limits with the gadgets out there? Because there's a lot of people out there, my friend, who are spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on computer technology to see what will work, what will not. This has become, I'm not going to say big business because I don't think it's there yet, but it's become a very expensive business. Is that even worth the value for people who say, pick up your new book, who are learning about ghost hunting for the first time? Is that even part of the equation of becoming an investigator?
Once again, this is a yes or no answer. I'm saying yes, only for the aspect in the book it says the right tool for the right job. So if you are going on a ghost investigation, for example, personally, these are all my opinions, but personally I would prefer a tri-field versus a K2. A tri-field measures radio frequency, electromagnetic frequency, but in two different spectrums, and then it also targets those. Also natural magnetic fields. So it's the right tool for the right job. Just because you have a ton of gadgets, and unfortunately we have an arsenal of gadgets, but we don't take them all out, when we go on investigation. We go on investigation, we listen to the person, we do our homework, we listen, do a lot of background research on the location, and then we decide these are the ones that we're going to use. Or we're not going to use anything, we're just going to use cameras and that's it. I might have I made these EMF cuffs to where they just all they do is they light up when it exceeds. I think it's 1,200 milligauss. So they light up whenever there's a spike in the area, whatnot. Then we do a validation and make sure it's not electrical or whatnot. Unfortunately, a lot of times in homes and buildings and whatnot,
right?
Even with, it turns out it's an electrical spike. But to say that we're getting, but like you said, I've seen devices that guarantee you will get results. No, stop it. That's like saying I'm not picking on those people that drive around with the little needle on E and with the light on, and they say I can make it to town. But come on, I mean, there's nothing to guarantee results. You should be looking for devices that will test your theories and to enhance what you're hoping to find anyway, but to gain evidence. And that evidence should provide you with answers to build a new theory and move on. Not to say, so it's a yes or no question. It really depends on the investigation, and it also depends on the individuals. I've seen psychics, very good psychics, that used EMF pumps and the Ovilus. And unfortunately, the Ovilus has a limited library of 200 words, and I like the Ovilus to some extent, but it's limited to only 200 words. And the reason I like the Ovilus is because it reacts, not for the word, but because of its reaction. But I've actually seen it where, and I've got the examples actually in the book, where people were so focused on the answers that they're projecting. Now, a person projecting hard enough on a device that is designed to pick up on frequencies, and you're projecting frequencies, now you're manipulating the device. So to get too much into technology and without being able to control your actions as a researcher, it kind of cancels each other out there.
All right, we got a couple questions here from the audience that I want to get to. A pair from Joey, and we only got about 7 minutes left, so we're going to have to pack these in. Joey is asking, have you been able, Matt, to validate an infrasound event with any activity, and if so, what?
Not yet. That's why I haven't ruled it out. Until I can validate it with the infrasound, it's still a theory, and if I do have an event, then of course I'm going to look at what caused the event, and if I can say there's this at this point in time, I can't validate anything with it, or go forward and say, look, I've picked up all this that I can't explain, then of course I'm going to proceed further.
Right.
Currently, I have not.
All right. Follow-up question from Joey. Have you been able to debunk an infrasound event with a geomagnetic event?
No. Once again, I still really haven't got a whole lot. That one is still our theory and want to proceed further with. And I would love it if somebody took that and ran with it, because I think there's something to it. And but unfortunately, we haven't had the opportunity because we've been focusing on a physical location to move forward with the Mudutu Effect and P.A.S.T. Paranormal team.
All right. Finally, Shanna will probably have the last question of the night. This comes from YouTube. Little Shanna Banana there. She is asking, Matt, what is your weirdest woo-worthy story of the paranormal that you could tell us?
been quite a few weird ones. So just off the cuff, well, gosh, there's so many. But I'll just grab one out of the air. We did an investigation 2 years ago. It was in a controlled environment. We actually used practitioners, and what they did is they formed a circle because there's something to the energy that's created when practitioners form a circle. So we filmed it, and we did, and it's on the Mudutu Effect YouTube channel. So we did everything, full-blown investigation, had everything out there that we could possibly utilize in that type of environment. And two things that happened is everybody kept thought, because pareidolia kept happening, everybody kept thinking they were seeing someone standing in the woods because it was dark. And sure enough, there was, we caught evidence of someone standing in the tree line watching us, but it was literally there and then slowly would turn and fade away. But the other half of that is we were packing up and leaving, but we always had the cameras rolling even if we're not investigating, because once again, time is maybe on a different level somewhere else. So we had the cameras rolling, we're packing up, and sure enough, we hear this strange wording on one of the cameras. So it turns out it was Cree, Plains Cree, saying, pretty much, so in the South we would say, "Y'all come back now, you hear?" Type thing. Yeah, it was proverbial, "Have a good night, see you later, go home" type thing. And we like those because it's in a completely different language. We can rule out the concept of, we've had them in French, we've had them in Cree, we've had them in, love those. But that one I just really, really loved because at that point in time we had the visual sensations, and then we have the evidence to back it up. Now we want to know, we're going to repeat this whole thing in a different location to see if we get the same effect. Is this something with the land, or was this, the actual energy that was created?
Well, that we'll have to save for another night, man. That we'll have to save. We got about 2.5 minutes here. You got a new building that you are setting up for your paranormal adventures there in Regina.
Yeah, we're actually putting it in Milestone, Saskatchewan, and it's on Main Street. So if you're ever in the area, come by and check it out. But it's the main hall. We're going to actually be holding these pretty much paranormal one-on-one classes there, and we'll include an investigation to go over review, the proper way to go through review without speculation. And, we'll also be doing lectures and classes there and whatnot, but it's all going to be recommended donation-based. So if you don't have the money, that's fine, because not everybody has the money. It's not about making money, it's about educating, and that's what Mudutu means. Mudutu Effect means the knowledge effect. So the more we can communicate and learn from each other, the better.
When do you have a plan to have that fully set up? And will you be taking Skype students?
That's actually something that we're hoping to build on. Is we have the Mudutu Effect videos where we review theories and whatnot, but and that's on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, look up Mudutu Effect. But it's what we want to do is do live feeds from there, and more interactive live feeds, so that, because we have friends in Ontario, all over Canada, and in the States, and we want to be able to incorporate them as well.
Beautiful. My friend, we've got about 40 seconds left. I'm already getting a bunch of requests for you to come back. People really enjoyed this in our chat rooms tonight.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand out 2 of your books to my listeners tonight. I'm just going to randomly pick them because I have 2 books that you would like me to give away. So I want to say thank you for sharing your knowledge, your books with our audience here on Spaced Out Radio. Greatly appreciate that. And good luck to you.
The books are available on Mudutu.ca. So
yeah,
go to
that's
the website.
Mudutu.ca. Mudutu.ca. Yep. Matt Lay, what a pleasure. You hold on here because I'm going to get ready to send this to break here. Want to remind everybody that coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. I'm going to pick 2 people to give this book away to. Well, the copies I have of it. Thank you, Matt Lay, for coming on. And I agree with all of you who mentioned it. We got to bring Matt on again. He's got a fantastic beard, too. The beard is the power of the Matt. More Spaced Out Radio right after this. Dude, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I had a blast.
Well, that was awesome, man. That was absolutely awesome. And for all of Matt's supporters, friends, family who are watching on YouTube tonight, and if you're not familiar with the show, or maybe you are, but catch it every once in a while, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind, if you like what we've done tonight, because we are here 7 days a week. 5 days a week on YouTube, 7 days a week on the radio side, and we would really appreciate the support. So thank you so much, Matt. You were fantastic. And do me a favor, give Alyson a big hug for us for approaching me saying, hey, do you mind if we get Matt on the air? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Of course we can. Of course we can.
She can hear you.
Good. Well, give her a big hug for me because I love you guys, and you guys are awesome.
Love you too.
Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
she
you.
said, love your hair.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, you got a nice. Are you bringing the mohawk back? Do you still have the mohawk or what?
No, I let it all grow out.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's all grown out now.
Oh, man. Man, are you going to grow it fully out or what?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, my daughter wants Dumbledore, so...
Beautiful. Beautiful. Grow it, my friend. Grow it. It's a 2-year journey that will be well worth it. A 2-year journey that will be well worth it. All right, brother, I'm going to let you go here, but thank you so much for your time. Alyson, thank you again, and we'll talk to you guys very soon.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right, brother. Take care. Bye-bye. I absolutely love him, man. I really do. He is one of the realest dudes out there, and it is such a pleasure. Him and his wife, Alyson, Matt's wife, Alyson, they're just fantastic people, and, you know, we'll try and bring them back on again here soon. I really like them. I think they bring some real intelligence to the community. And that is something that we got to continue to try and bring in. Seriously. We got to continue to try and bring that in. Yeah. Yeah. Send your guest ideas to Corey at bookings@spacedoutradio.net. Corey at spacedoutradio.net or bookings@spacedoutradio.net. What else we got here? Oh, hold on. Hi, Sister Mona Lisa. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Dr. Alcom, I am not mohawking my hair. Look how beautiful and luscious this is. I am not mohawking this. Although I think it would be really cool to spike it up one day. Get his, I'm going to have to go through about 36 egg whites in order to create it hard enough to hold my hair up. That would be awesome, though. That would be absolutely awesome. All right. We are officially booking for May. Our April is done. Yeah. Corey, which dates did I forget to send you? I better find out here. Let's see here. Which dates did Corey need? April 20th, 21st, and 25th. Well, 25th is a Saturday, so we haven't booked anything for that. April 20th is Jody Cook. Talking Dog Band. 21st is Science Bob McGuire. UFO Science. How creative is that name? Dave's hair is looking good tonight. I had a very, Shanna, I had a very good shampoo and conditioner today in my shower. I made sure I scrubbed it nicely. Really gave my scalp a nice massage. You know, it's funny because previous to me ever having long hair, I never knew what the hell conditioner did. I really didn't. I couldn't tell you if there was a purpose to conditioner or not. You know, now I totally get it. Totally get it. God bless conditioner. I'm not sure if I had the Adam Sandler, Billy Madison argument, shampoo is better or conditioner is better. I think I would side with conditioner. I really do. All right. Hold on. We got a radio show to do
it's
here.
It's the place everyone wants to be.
It's this place everybody
join
wants
us
to be.
at the Moose Vancouver.
Rich.
The Moose Vancouver. The
Rich.
official party bar.
Spaced Out Radio. Which is kind of closed right now due to coronavirus. I met Carrie Cassidy at UFOCon. She wasn't very friendly. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have all of you with us. I want to remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, which you can get your horns up on, and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Speaking of the news, let's get to it, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and the downright serious at times. Like I said earlier, right off the top of the show, there will be stories that will be coming out that we will be discussing about the coronavirus. But during the main interview of the show, we are going to stick right away from that because we want to give all of you a major break. For those of you who showed up late, I actually probably should read this again. All right. So bear with me. And it kind of goes like this. I just want to say a few words about what is happening around the world right now. I think for the most part, we are all in a state of shock when it comes to the reactions from people and governments around the world regarding the spread of coronavirus. It's not good times, and for the most part, on a personal level, what I'm seeing on social media and seeing for myself, I don't think we're heading in a proper direction. Today, us Canadians took a jolt when our borders were closed, except for the United States. Keeping the politics and finger-pointing aside, we're all sitting here wondering, around the world, what's coming next? For us here at Spaced Out Radio, I want all of you to know that we as a team and business have been discussing this matter. Unless something major happens, we have decided that we are not going to be discussing the coronavirus topic in depth during the show. Some news articles will be read on the newswire at the back end of every show, but we are going to do our best to steer this in a different direction. Our job is about the woo. It's about UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, with everything in between. We think it's important to give you, our valued listeners, a break during your nights after being pounded all day by the media, social media, and people in general regarding this topic. You need a break, and we're going to continue to be that break that you deserve. The world is in a place that the majority of us have never seen. It's stressful as we are all stuck on what to do. Start by caring for yourself, caring for your family and neighbors. Don't be greedy. Be prepared to help. And as one of our listeners, Michelle from Twitter, known as Goddess Michelle, she's a nurse. She says, if you don't want to pass this, you don't want to catch it, wash your hands frequently. It's the best way to combat the spread of this disease. Keep your fingers out of your eyes, keep your fingers out of your nose and out of your mouth. And overall, if you're at the store, supermarket, Costco, wherever, don't be greedy. We all need to be human right now, and that starts with you. So, in the news tonight, we are going to mention a couple of stories regarding COVID-19. Canadian citizens and permanent residents will only be allowed entry into the country as of today. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced the federal government is taking increasing aggressive steps to keep Canadians safe by denying entry to anyone who is not a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, with some exceptions, including diplomats, air crews, and immediate family of citizens and U.S. citizens. The Prime Minister cites the close relationship between Canada and the U.S. for the reason behind the exception for U.S. citizens. There will also be new travel restrictions with only 4 airports, Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, and Vancouver, accepting international flights. And anyone who shows symptoms of coronavirus will not be able to return to Canada, added Trudeau. An assistance program is being developed for travelers needing to come home. Canadian travelers will be able to get financial assistance to help them with their costs of returning home or temporarily covering their basic needs while they wait to come back to Canada, the Prime Minister said. Trudeau reiterated that the need for Canadians abroad to return home and self-isolate is 14 days. He says, let me be clear, if you are abroad at this time, you must come home. The new travel restrictions will not apply to commerce or trade to ensure the supply of goods to Canada continues. He says, I know that these measures are far-reaching. They are exceptional circumstances calling for exceptional measures. He said the new measures to help Canadians through the pandemic will be announced as early as tomorrow. Meanwhile, Minister of Health Patty Hajdu said it's too early to tell if Canada is flattening the curve on the coronavirus spread. Yeah. All right, moving on. A skywriter encouraged healthy habits amid the coronavirus outbreak by scrawling words in hand wash in the sky, or wash hands in the sky over Sydney, Australia. Witnesses this past Thursday saw an airplane writing this. Yeah, with air show smoke. The message appeared to be advice timed to coincide with the COVID-19 pandemic. Experts say washing hands is one important step towards preventing the spread of the virus. The name and identity of the pilot was not known. The Tennessee brothers, who tried to capitalize on the coronavirus outbreak by stockpiling nearly 18,000 bottles of hand sanitizer with the intent to resell the goods at marked up prices, have now had their stash cleaned out. Matt and Noah Colvin drew widespread fury over the weekend after their effort was profiled by the New York Times, in which they were revealed to have cleared out hand sanitizer and antibacterial wipes from stores around Chattanooga, Tennessee, and parts of Kentucky. Kentucky. But on Sunday, Matt helped volunteers from a local church place 2/3 of the massive supply onto a truck destined to deliver the products to Tennesseans in need. The remaining third reportedly was seized by officials from the Tennessee Attorney General's office and will be handed over to authorities in Kentucky for distribution. It was never my intention to keep necessary medical supplies out of the hands of people who need them, Matt says. Oh, really? That's not the person I am. You bought 17,700 bottles. Dude, you were trying to make a quick buck here, you liar. And he goes on to say, I've been told for the last 48 hours is how much of a person I am. Colvin added that he has received hate mail and death threats and has expressed remorse for his actions. I've been buying and selling things for 10 years now. There's a lot of hot product after hot product, but the thing is, there's always another one on the shelf, he said. When we did this trip, I had no idea that these stores wouldn't be able to get replenished. After the brothers made headlines, news outlets reported that investigators with the Tennessee Attorney General's office ordered the Colvins to end any profiteering strategies. The state, which has laws against price gouging, is investigating the case. I just want to make clear that donating the hand sanitizers does not mean they are off the hook legally, Samantha Fisher says. Yeah, she goes, if evidence established they engaged in price gouging, we will seek the appropriate penalties. Good for you. Matt Colvin sold the sanitizer online for between $8 and $70 each, multiple times higher than what he paid for the product at local stores. But then Amazon and eBay suspended his seller's account. Good. Get rid of him. I hope they do punish him. I really do. Next, hand sanitizer, as you know, is becoming a hot commodity. We all know the advice: wash your hands often with soap and water to prevent the spread of coronavirus. When you can't, use hand sanitizer. But actually finding hand sanitizer anywhere is another story. Bottles of Purell and other sanitizers are few and far between on store shelves. And if you do manage to come across a solution with at least 60% alcohol, chances are it has a pretty hefty price tag. Distilleries are stepping up in a way to combat this by using the alcohol in their facilities to create their own alcohol-based solutions. Some are packaging it in small bottles, while others are encouraging people to bring their own containers for refills. Old Fourth Distillery in Atlanta started making hand sanitizer and distributing it for free Thursday. Due to the recent reports of outages and low supply in our community, we have decided to provide hand sanitizer free of charge to anyone in need, made with aloe vera gel and 95% ethanol. Yeah, don't light your hands on fire with this stuff or drink it. You know what, though? If you're listening in Noonan, Georgia, where we are broadcasting, make sure you check this on out. It's not that far. It's free. Go get it. There is no substitute for washing your hands, but in a pinch, it will get the job done. Available at the distillery starting March 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you have a container, please bring it, and they will be happy to fill it. Good for them, Old Fourth Distillery. Good for you guys. That's good press. Very good press. Moving on here. Speaking of Amazon, apparently, they're going to hire 100,000 people across the U.S. to keep up with a crush of orders as the coronavirus spreads and keeps more people at home and shopping online. The online retailer said it was also temporarily raising pay by $2 an hour through the end of April for hourly employees. That includes workers at its warehouses, delivery centers, and Whole Foods grocery stores, all of whom make at least $15 an hour. Employees in the United Kingdom and other European countries will get similar raises. We are seeing a significant increase in demand, which means our labor needs are unprecedented at this time of year, said Dave Clark, who oversees Amazon's warehouse and delivery network. Amazon said this week that a surge of orders is putting its operations under pressure. It warned shoppers that it could take longer than the usual 2 days to get packages. It also said it was sold out of many household cleaning supplies and is working to get more in stock. Last week, Amazon tweaked its time off policy for hourly workers, telling them they could take as much time off as they wanted in March, although they would only be paid if they had earned earn the time off. Additionally, Amazon said it would pay hourly workers for up to 2 weeks if they contracted the virus or needed to be quarantined. The Seattle-based company said the new job openings are for a mix of full-time and part-time positions and include delivery drivers, warehouse workers who pack and ship orders to shoppers. Amazon is already the second largest U.S.-based employer behind Walmart with nearly 800,000 workers worldwide. The Shed Aquarium took advantage of being closed amid coronavirus fears by allowing a group of penguins to tour the facility and visit other exhibits. The aquarium tweeted videos this past weekend showing a rockhopper penguin named Wellington excitedly touring the building and looking through the glass at some potentially tasty fish. Officials said several rockhopper penguins were treated to tours on Sunday. Without guests in the building, caretakers are getting creative in how they provide enrichment to animals, the aquarium said, introducing new experiences, activities, foods, and more to keep them active, encourage them to explore, problem solve, and express natural behaviors. The Shed Aquarium announced it was closing temporarily after Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot banned public gatherings over 1,000 people and asked for any planned gathering of more than 250 people to be canceled. Let's go to the ocean. I don't want to see this, but we're going to talk about it. A pair of great white sharks were spotted attacking and killing a live humpback whale in Mossel Bay, South Africa, in what is believed a world first. While there are several accounts of great whites scavenging on whale carcasses, this, scientists say, is the first documented observation we have of the apex predators preying on a living humpback. The attack was witnessed back on February 17th, 2017 by a crew aboard the Oceans Research Institute's research vessel, following a tip-off about a humpback whale entangled in discarded fishing gear. On inspection, they found a 23-foot cetacean in poor health. Not only had a big cotton rope, but it was scrawny, covered in barnacles, and crawling with whale lice. Ew. Half an hour or so after the crew arrived, the first two great white sharks were seen approaching the whale. It started to circle, and then, of course, started attacking the whale's left flank from behind. It immediately let go, the study's author wrote, and continued to circle the whale. It then did not bite again for another 42 minutes, which was enough time that the whale had lost a large amount of blood and slowed down. Again, the shark bit it from behind and released its grip straight away. With the second and larger of the two sharks approached, took a third bite. The study's authors note that the presence of the bigger shark, which was about 13 feet, appeared to send the first shark packing. An hour or so into the encounter, the second shark attacked again, this time targeting the head with an open gape. It bumped the rostrum, or the beak of the humpback. The whale made several attempts to dive into the water as the shark continued to circle. The sharks bit the whale's tail for the final time more aggressively, and that pretty much meant the shark had killed the whale. Yeah. Atlantic white sharks like these are thought to be regularly feasting on whale carcasses or carrion, and may even be basing their migrations on whale meat supply, some studies suggest. They have also been known to attack smaller cetacean species, such as the harbor porpoise and bottlenose dolphin, while other species of shark, such as dusky sharks, have been known to prey on live humpback whales. This is the first example of white sharks doing the same. Oh, that's scary. And finally, you know what? This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for them drift netting. You know, it was the whale was caught up in the nets. It had no chance. It had no chance. That's too bad. That's really too bad. Oh, a parallelogram of a great white shark. Thank you, Mr. Skeptic. I saw that one right away. Not as scary as the great whites. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we get a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Thank you, Marty, for that lovely clown at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. What is your biggest rule for paranormal, cryptid, UFO investigation? Reverend Keith. Avoid yellow snow. It's not lemon, no matter how much Brad tells you it is. Who is Brad? William Pullen, one of the best goatees in the business. Dispassionate objectivity. All right. Melinda Leslie. Evidence, evidence, evidence. Follow the evidence and show some compassion for others. Tom. Let the data dictate the answers. Joel. Take a break every now and again. Matt. It's always safety first. John. Always keep an open mind. Bob. Science Bob, actually. Gather all the evidence you can. Do not let yourself be the only voice interpreting it. Be open-minded and prepared for and open to criticism. You can only learn from it. Okay, Bob. All right, Bob. I know you're still listening. Okay, Bob. I'm having an issue with the YouTube chat stream tonight. Just for me. I don't know if anybody else is, but I definitely am. It's like stalling on me. Stalling. All right, let's continue. Don. Don't be disrespectful and don't disrespect the rested. Don't go off searching by yourself. That is good advice. Bigfoot will take you. He will. Ask David Politis. Kevin. Feed a ghost, starve an alien, and always wash your hands after petting a dog man. Very, very good advice. You forgot about bringing a tennis ball for Dogman, though. You always need that tennis ball. Caden. Use common sense and logic first. All right. Gil. Do not shout or run. Penman. Wave at the UFOs, don't give Sasquatch snacks, and stop bothering the ghosts. Captain Shirk. The biggest rule is to stay home, crank the Rob Zombie, leave all of the ghosts alone, and never seek anything without skin. Which means you know she loves a good alien. Oh, she loves them Greys. The reptilians, and the Bigfoot, and the Dogman. Captain Shirk just brings them into her humble home, feeds them dinner and corn dogs. Kelly, unbiased opinion on the work, and make sure you have very thick skin. Alex Mistretta, former guest. How about we do some actual investigation when we go to investigate? Oh, that's just way too logical, Alex. Way too logical. All right. Finally, Stacy Marie says, I have a small pet peeve. I don't like any more than 3 people on an investigation. The noise factor bothers the crap out of me. Well then, Stacy, aren't you just trouble? Aren't you just trouble? That's okay, though. Thank you so much to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio, as well as on Facebook. We will do it all again tomorrow. And a big thank you to Captain Shirk for getting our SOR Newswire put together. Great job, Captain. You can find all of our news on our website, spacedoutradio.com. And, of course, to Matt Lay at his brand new book, Practical Paranormal and Supernatural Investigations. A basic guide for the serious investigator. You can buy it at mudutu.ca. I'm picking 2 listeners right now. 2 listeners right now out of the chat rooms tonight. All of our chat rooms. Tara is one. Matt, you are the other. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your car, wherever you may be. Yeah, big thanks if you're in the chat rooms. On Twitter, #SpacedOutRadio, Facebook, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Spreaker, the SOR Space Travelers Club, and all the YouTubers and YouTubettes hanging on out with us. Thank you so much for your kind words. And always bring Pringles when on a paranormal investigation. Thank you, Mr. Skeptic. Hey, remember this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Make sure you have a good night with us tonight, and we'll do it all again tomorrow, because together, my friends, I know you're out there somewhere, because we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night, everyone. Hey, 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 hey. Da-na-na-na. I better not do that. Hey, 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 hey. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. Turn that off. Turn that off. Yeah, cool. Cool. That's gone. That comes off. Yep. Hey, everybody on YouTube. Dave, your daughter wants to see my Marvin hat. Okay, hold on. For you. There you go. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like right there. How do you think? What do you think? Breaking the law, breaking the law. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Breaking the law, breaking the law. There we go. Is she happy, Corey? Is she happy? All right. Let me just sign off to everybody. Get rid of there. Get out of there. Have to say goodnight to everybody, because that's the kind of guy I am. All right, there we go. There we go. Oh, thank you, little Corey. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is like my favorite toque ever. The problem is I have a giant fucking head, pardon my language, and like this is like child's large or XL or something like that, so it is a little tight. When my hair is shorter, it actually fits better, but yeah, I had to buy it because I'm a Marvin the Martian freak. I am. One day I'll show you all my Marvin stuff. It is kind of warm, though. It's actually making me sweat. Oh, let it flow. Let it flow. Thank you to everybody for tuning on in tonight. Hope you had a good time. Let me just load this up, so that way I can actually see the chat room. I don't know why on YouTube earlier today, all of a sudden I started getting videos of Japanese chefs carving up bluefin tuna. So I clicked on one of them. No, I didn't make the hat. I did not make the hat. I bought it, actually. But anyways, I clicked on one of these Japanese chefs who are carving up like these 300-pound tunas for like sushi in their restaurant. My God, the knives and swords that they use to cut this thing up, that is incredible. They are very, very good and talented. It really is kind of cool. I'm not even a fish eater. Do you own a discombobulator? No. Should I? Should I? Why should I? Oh, we're going to mute me here. It's a PU-36 space modulator. That's what it is. PU-36 space modulator. YouTube has the what? Microbe virus. Yeah, I don't know what's with the chat. I don't know. It happened like 3 times tonight. I had to reset it. 3 times. I don't know why. We still got like 31 people here. Say hello. Where are y'all from? Let me know. Yeah, I'm not into the roe. It's not caviar, it's roe. Roe is used for bait. Roe is used for bait. PU-36 space modulator. Where's the kaboom? Yes. Yes. California. Oh, very cool. North or south, treehouse pot smoking cannabis guy? Hippie lettuce dude? Or chick? I don't know. Let's see here. I love wasabi. Do you ever try those wasabi peas that come in a bag? Oh, those are so friggin' good. Those are so good. So good. What else is Ian Holt posting in here? Let's see here. Good night. Who's leaving? Who's leaving? GB Days and everyone? Or Davs and everyone? Good night. All right. Good night, Richie C. All right, Jeffy. Good night. Well, if everybody's leaving, we shall part ways until tomorrow night. Should we break into song before we leave? Anybody want to break into song? I don't know. Do not know. I feel like we should. Anybody? East Tennessee in there. Have you guys had a quarterback at Tennessee ever since Peyton Manning left? Just asking. That is very true, Corey. You can check out anytime you like, but you may never leave. What are we doing tomorrow night? Oh, Joshua Cutchin. I gotta call him tomorrow. We are the world. We are the children. Now the question had earlier, have you ever heard of anything that's sort of like what I came across? No, I haven't heard of the big cat shadow. I wish I had. That would be kind of cool and scary at the same time. If you learn more about that, send it my way. I like that stuff. I really do. Let's see here. What's happening on Facebook right now? Not that I'm ignoring all of you. I'm just seeing what the news is right now. I like this line here by Karen Smurl. The meme she put up. What a fucking year this week has been. Oh yeah, that is awesome. You know what bugs me is when people, like, instead of just typing the swear word, they put like the first letter and then ... or instead of saying shit, they put shite. Like, really? Just say the bloody word. We all know what you're saying. You're not covering anything up. We're not that silly, stupid, foolish. We know. We know. I know. I don't get it. Wow. Incredible. What's amazing through this whole virus thing is how many more real gnome sightings? None. Haven't had any in a long time. You know, in this whole thing of virus thing, you know, imagine how many people come Christmas time are going to get toilet paper for Christmas. Imagine that. Where is my elastic? No real gnome sightings. I got nothing. I am boring right now, man. I am as boring as being, you know, told to stay home. My God. Here's where Canada's next downfall is. Prove me wrong. Hockey has already been shut down across the nation, especially about to go into playoffs. Playoffs? What the hell are playoffs? Are you kidding me? Anyways, playoffs. Tim Hortons are thinking of only going drive-through only. If they shut down Tim Hortons in this country, there will be a fucking riot. An absolute riot. Okay? We're talking about some not good stuff here, people. I don't know what I would do without ice caps. Like, what am I supposed to drink? Water? Come on. What am I supposed to do? Get healthy? Come on. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Anyways, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Chairs have been taken away. Oh, that's not good. Anyways, everyone, I'm going to say goodnight tonight and shut this thing down. Thank you to everybody who has participated tonight. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Joshua Cutchin is our guest. Remember, do me a favor. A great way to support this show, hit the super chat. If you can't do that, head over to our Spaced Out Radio store. Do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Okay, pick yourself up a t-shirt. We're not looking to make break bank there. We want to make sure we get as many t-shirts out as possible. And if you can't do that or you can't afford that right now, do me a favor. Just give us a thumbs up. Okay, give us a like, give us a share on social media, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it may be. It all helps. It all helps. And most importantly, tell a friend, because I'm sure you all have.